Hello everyone, Pajama King here. In this video, we will learn how to show a widget on an interactable object. First, we need to create a widget we want to show. I will name it WBP Press to Use. I will keep the visuals fairly simple, but feel free to tweak it as you desire. So for this tutorial, I will add in a vertical box, so whatever is underneath stacks properly. I will split my screen so I can easily drag and drop my texture I downloaded from Google Images. I will also add in some text underneath. You will notice that the images look really stretched right now. We fix this by changing it from full screen to desired and update it to be center aligned. Now it should look correctly. I'll do the same with the text and also update it to say use, so it's clear to the player what the E button does. You can tweak the settings of the text in here. I'll give it a black outline of 2 to make it look a bit more crisp. After this, we want to create a blueprint interface called BPI Interactable. This is a clause that our interactable items can implement and allows us to call functions later on without any casting that needs to be done, which in some cases you want to avoid. Here we will just add the onHover function for now. Now we need to create a blueprint clause where we can add the functionality for hiding and showing our widget. This will just inherit from the actor and we call it BP Interactable Base. In the class settings, we want to add an interactable interface. This will allow us to implement any function or event the interface has defined. In our case, the onHover function. But before we do that, we want to set up our blueprint by adding a static mesh and a widget component. As a mesh, we select a cube, but you can also select anything that you want. For the widget component, if you scroll down in the details panel, you will see a section called user interface, which is where you can set the widget and give it any tweaks. I will move it down a bit as well so it's closer to our cube. Now if we place our new blueprint in the scene and hit play, we can see our widget on top of our cube. However, if we move around it, it is stationary and we can't see it from behind. We can easily fix this by changing the widget to be in screen space instead of world space. You will notice that this makes it invisible inside the blueprint preview. This is normal. This setting will make sure that the widget utilizes a technique called billboarding, where the widget is rotated to make sure that it always faces the player. We also want to put this widget to be invisible by default, so it doesn't show up unless the player is looking at it. Now we can implement the onHover function. You should find it under interfaces on the left. When you double click it, it will add an event to your blueprint. The function itself is quite simple, as the only thing we need to do is set the visibility of our widget to true. If you go back to our interface, we can also create an onHover ended function. This will be called when the player looks away. So when we implement it in our base class, all we need to do is just hide our widget. Once that is done, we want to open our player character and create a new function called look for interactables. If you have watched my previous videos on pickups, this will feel very familiar, and that is because we are reusing a lot of the functionality. First, we want to do a line trace by channel, which will cast the line from the position you give it to the end position you give it. If it hits anything at all in between those points, it will return successful and you can get the position where it hit the actor and the actor itself. If the actor implements our interface, we want to call the onHover function. As a start position, we can give it our camera's world location. If you are using a third person character, you may want to use the character mesh instead. But the rest of the steps should be the same. As an end position, we need to get the direction of where our camera is facing by getting the forward vector. We multiply this by how far we want the line to be cast. We will promote this to a variable called interact range and set it to 750. After that we can add it to our camera position to get the endpoint. Now at this point I always like to test out my line trace to see if I did the math correctly. You can do this by setting the debug type to for duration and change the duration to how long you want to see it. Now we also need to call our function. We will do this by using the set timer by function node instead of the event tick. This is to save on performance, as we don't need this function to run every frame. We can promote the time as a variable, which will be the interval that this function gets called for. For example, every 0.2 seconds. Also make sure to put the function to looping, so it continues being called. Now if we run the game, you can see the lines being cast, and we can see that it correctly goes from our camera to the direction we're looking in. You can also use this to tweak the range. As you can see, 750 might be a bit too far, so feel free to lower this. Also for your own sanity, don't forget to turn this off again when you're done. Since we know our cast is working correctly, we can now start using the result of it to call our onHover function of our object. We can break the result so we can see what information we are working with. From there, we want to check if the hit actor implements our interface. If it does, we know that we can call the onHover function on it. When we test it out in game, you can see the widget appearing when the player looks at their object, but the widget never gets hidden. This is because we don't ever call our onHoverEnded function. To do this, we need to store a reference to our actor that our line trace has hit. We also need to add a branch tag to see if it has hit anything at all. If it hasn't, and we have a valid reference, we should call the onHoverEnded function on our interactable object and invalidate our reference to that object by setting it to nothing. Now that will handle the case when the player looks away in the air, but we also need to handle the case when a player is looking at a different object. For that, we can add another branch check where we compare our hit actor with our interactable object. If they are the same, we shouldn't do anything, as the widget will already be displayed. If they are different, we should do two actions, for which we can add a sequence node. First, we need to call the onHoverEnded function on our current interactable object. Then we can call the onHover function on our new object and update our reference to that actor instead of the previous one. Once that is done, we can test it out in game and everything should be working correctly. If you get stuck, I recommend you join our Discord server and either me or one of our community members should be able to help out. But we're not done learning yet. If you want to know how to create this outline material or how to pick up and carry any object, I recommend you watch this playlist next.